So you might have watched a video where I was talking about how excited I am about ChatGPT and the effects on academic research. And I've been thinking about that a little bit more recently. And I think it's going to actually have some really profound positive effects on research careers. And the first sort of issue is really talking about the effects on ethics. And there's one problem that we face that's actually a really difficult problem, is that we can't replicate a lot of the research that we possibly do, simply because it's hard to do these things, right? So there's often based on trust, on honesty, on a number of different things that are, we are trying to sort of change this as, researchers trying to change this and make this more open, but it's often really hard to do this. You can't validate everybody's work. So I think artificial intelligence can actually be used to validate people's work. And instead of relying on individuals per se, because people are really fallible, right? We make a lot of stupid mistakes. Our ethical standards are not the same across all individuals. We can't change that, right? The only way we can change that is if we're raised in the same family, the same, part of the same institutions, all these kind of things. And even still, that would be really tricky to sort of mitigate some of the ethical issues. And so I think artificial intelligence can actually pursue some of these studies and be the person, the sort of lab tech that will go and validate studies to make sure that they actually are true or they do hold, and validate them such that we can be much more trustworthy. The other thing that it can do is find the least trustworthy sort of studies, by sort of asking it to do that, right? It can actually identify some of these things where there's issues with trust, and it doesn't hold with sort of consistent understanding. And when it doesn't hold with consistent understanding, we can investigate those particular things. So I think those are really, really important. Now, the second thing that I think is really important, it's going to level the playing field a lot more. And I know that we're going to have access to, some people are going to have access to better machines and better computers and things like that. But eventually it's going to slow down. It's like the laptop, right? When the laptops first started coming out, having better access to faster laptops, that was better than the ones that didn't. But eventually it slowed down, and everybody has access to laptops now, and it doesn't matter. So I think it's actually going to level the playing field a lot more, because there are a lot of resources that are distributed unfairly in the research careers or in research games. That some places get more resources than others for a number of different reasons, funding structures, all these kind of things. And I think that's going to actually level the playing field. The other thing that we can quickly identify, or we can identify key players or key individuals that aren't getting the sort of the intellectual power that they should be getting, right? And I think that's an important thing. We'll be able to sort of search for across all research, all across all ideas, and then identify the ones that are particularly interesting, no matter what is going on with the journals and sort of validity of the different journals, right? And there's a pecking order right now, and that's how we sort of understand how this works, is that there is this pecking order. And the reason why we have this pecking order in journals and in science is because it's hard to know who's trustworthy, who's not. That's at the end of the day, that's what's going on. But if we have machines that are allowing us to identify this is going to be able to make it a little bit more of a level playing field. It's not going to, it's not going to make any of all of this stuff disappear, but I think it's going to make it a more, slightly more level playing field than what it historically has been. And I think we're going to see some really interesting sort of changes as a result of artificial intelligence in research. And I think it's going to be very, in general, scary, obviously, but also very, very positive. We are going to really see some vast improvements across the board in terms of getting access to the people that should get access to intellectual capabilities. So with that, give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care.